Tyler, and he wasn't the only one that offered to donate sperm, but we chose Tyler. Um, and yeah, he was the sperm donor. We tried multiple months, and he was the sperm donor for Cairo.
Okay. So for Cairo, was there a agreement? Was Tyler supposed to be his father? Did you ask Tyler specifically, hey, although this is a sperm donor situation, I'm married, I still want you to play father to this boy that we had together? Like, make it plain to us, how did Tyler go from sperm donor to father?
Yeah, no, he was not supposed to be a father to Cairo. I planned to have this child with a woman. I didn't I didn't feel the need like Kai needed a father figure. Like I have my dad. I have a lot of male friends. So no, he was not supposed to be a father figure. However, things were rocky between me and my now ex-wife. And she left very early on after Cairo's birth.
That this was something she was comfortable with. But that's years later, we ended up having Cairo. Fast forward, she was told, in that conversation, she also mentioned she wanted to have 2 kids by the time she turned 30. So when it comes time for her to get pregnant, she comes to me, she says, 2 of my friends have volunteered to be our donor. Tyler was one of them. I told her I did not want a known donor. I wasn't comfortable with that, but again, it's an abusive relationship. I go along with whatever she says. It's her first child, like biological child too. So I just wanted her to have her experience how she wanted to have it.
So you wanted to go to because that's the whole thing too. It's like, why? Because he made it seem that you guys couldn't afford a donor. Is that true?
No, that's not the case.
Okay, so you wanted to actually go the strict route with this, go to a donor hospital and do all that. But she said no, she wanted to do it with.
Yes, she chose Tyler of the 2.
Did she actually do it the turkey baster way? Yes, or did they start having sex?
So that's where it gets messy. The first 2 times, Tyler came to our house and he went in our bathroom downstairs. We had a half bathroom and we gave him the cup. We had a whole contraption. Gave him the cup. He went in the bathroom, did whatever he did. He gave it to us. He would leave and then we would go upstairs and finish the process. We did that 2 months in a row. Didn't work. I go out of town.
Hey.
He picks me up from the airport and she goes in the bathroom. As soon as I come in the house, she goes to the bathroom. She comes out, pregnancy test. And she goes, I'm pregnant. And I just broke down in tears because I already knew she cheated on me. I just knew. And again, abusive relationship. She cussed me out, went off. How dare you be upset that I am pregnant? You should be happy for me. This is our child, whatever. We go to urgent care to confirm the pregnancy because I've had a child before. I know at home test. Let's go see. She measures at 6 weeks pregnant. I wasn't out of town for 6 weeks.
Hey, how long were you out of town?
2 weeks at most. 10 days probably. And I bought the contraptions. I think it was called like a stork or something. It's an at-home conception thing. I don't remember having a third one. And she was like, no, we had an extra one. I found it under the sink. He gave it to me. We did it. Yeah.
So wait, so if you were only out of town for 2 weeks, is it possible that one of the turkey baster method sessions worked?
No,
it's not
only because so we would do it and we were tracking, the fertility. You're fertile. I think it's 2 weeks before your period. So we would check. She didn't get pregnant. Then we did it again. She didn't get pregnant. So I know for a fact 2 times.
Every time you guys done the baster method, you guys had taken a pregnancy test that came back negative.
Absolutely.
Okay, that makes sense.
She's pregnant.
And just to be, I know I'm shocked. We're shocked and everything, but just to be clear, because you keep mentioning abuse, and I want to be sensitive to that. I don't want to just overlook that. But was the abuse emotional, or was it physical, or was it financial?
Physical. She has I'm trying not to make this about her because I know Tyler's a story and that's what people care about. Right. But she has a history of abuse. I'm not the first one, So yeah, it was physical abuse. The reason that I went out of town is and again, I don't want to make it about her, but she tried to kill me, literally tried to kill me.
I'm going to mute TikTok because they will ban my ass.
I'm sorry. That's what I don't know how much.
I'm so sorry. I am so sorry. Like, yeah,
I said I wasn't gonna cry on here.
yeah,
So.
no, we're both very, very sorry. And we're not going to focus on that because that is very, very personal. And thank you for trusting us with that information. I think it takes a lot for you to come forward and say that. And then for you to see all this, this whole other side being said, but you have your side. And so just like, we're honored to even hear you say your side. So thank you for being brave enough to even share that. That is a horrible thing. Okay. This was not the turkey baster.
Yeah, but I'm in love. I want my marriage. This is a baby we've been trying for months. I have my doubts on how he got here, but he's here and I want to be a part of his life.
Yeah.
So we move forward as if we were going to raise this child together. But I just couldn't look at her the same. I'm at this point, I'm just, I hate to say it, but disgusted because I married a lesbian. So I don't want you sleeping with men. Cheat on me with a woman if you're going to cheat. But yeah, so we continue, but it's still little stuff. As she got pregnant, she got more attached to him, which of course you're pregnant with his child. And if you have feelings before, of course. So we're living in the same apartment complex. It was little things domestic tasks that she used to do. I mean, she's pregnant, but this is early in the pregnancy. And, it's like, oh, Tyler's going to come and empty the trash. Oh, Tyler's going to come do this. So now Tyler's the man of our house. And he would say little things. He would come over. He was supposed to be an uncle. He was not supposed to be involved. Yes. And
I did not reach out to Tyler and ask him to please step up and be Cairo's other father. In my mind, I was going to now be a single mom to one child. Tyler reached out to me. He said that he did not want Cairo to be raised by a single mom. And we had this conversation like, hey, okay, well, let me make sure you know you don't have children yet. So let me make sure that you know this means spending time with him. This means a financial responsibility. This means helping out, like picking him up from daycare, taking him to daycare. Like if you are stepping up as his father, I would like help in regards to all of those things. And if you can't do that, then that's totally fine. Like you don't have to step up.
Said he has no rights.
No rights.
No rights to really put his input in. So what a weird situation to try to even navigate. I can imagine the challenge of like, what is my role here?
I will say she wrote me on Instagram and apologized to me and Tyler and said she's praying for us and she never meant for it to go this way. And she won't say too much on this forum.
Didn't she make a public statement?
Yeah.
She made a public statement and then deleted everything.
It was at the public statement that was like saying how she doesn't know why Tyler is
and then posted a bunch of photos of him with the kids.
Yep, that's that one. Yep. But she also wrote me and apologized and said that like it's completely understandable if I never want to respond. And she sure my world is crazy right now. She never intentionally meant to cause me any pain. Like she won't say too much in this message, but yeah. And so I'm like, well, you're kind of causing it too, because you came out there and did that. But I did welcome the message. I told her I'm surprised, but I welcome this.
Yeah.
Because regardless if we never talk to you or the kids again, like it's still a thing. And so I wouldn't mind having a sit down with you. Like, I want to know what the motive is here. Like, even his mom, like when I talked to her, she's like, it is exactly what he's saying. And it used to be so uncomfortable for her, because she posts all her grandkids. And so it's like, what do I do? She's seen them maybe twice.
Wow.
They don't know her in the way that people are she's reposting pictures and things like that. I think that, again, if you have met Tyler for 5 minutes, this is the thing that really gets me is the assassination of his character. And I'm not here to defend him. I have to say this. If you meet him for
just sitting right here, I'm not asking for forgiveness. I'm just asking for a chance. I would love to marry you. I do want a family with you. I would like you here. I know if you need your space, you got your space.
Hello, 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 hello. They call me the governor. Listen, let me just unfold my folder here. I've got a few documents here. Yeah, documenting how many people are lying in this particular story. The women are lying, the men are lying. Everybody's got a little bit of a lying problem. So today, I decided we're going to go through the evidence. We're going to look at different clips just to make sure we've got the story right. We've got Bri, who's an abuser, who pushed out her ex-wife, who's a lesbian, and she's a lesbian, but then decided to have a turkey baster, which wasn't a turkey baster, to have not one, but 3 children by a man, not by a woman. No. Then we have Ashley, who decided to defend the very man who said he had sperm donor kids, but then actually slept with the woman as well. Okay? And then we have also Tyler himself, the full-on villain. Yeah? Lying about sperm donor kids when he brilliantly well knows it's not sperm donor. I don't know many sperm donors who are sleeping with the wife that they're with. I don't know many sperm donors. Do you know any sperm donors who are just sleeping with women who are called their friends? Do you sleep with your friends? No, we have to have a real conversation here. Okay? A real conversation. People are sleeping with people who are their friends and calling it they were just trying to do a sperm donor friend. I'm sorry, both of them are liars. Okay, hold on, let me just close my folder here. Let me put my folder aside for you guys. Look, this is a serious conversation. Whilst I do believe the kids are very much important, put them aside. Jessie, Wu and Ricky have done a great job. Someone put them aside. We need to have a conversation about the other things that people are not talking about right now, right? First and foremost, Bri is a lesbian, supposedly. Supposed to be a lesbian. Who ended up sleeping with her best friend, who she also knew before time had a fiance, who then had a sperm donor situation with her. Can we start there? No, can we start there? Because we already know Tyler's an absolute villain, and I'm going to nail Tyler. Don't you worry. He's got to get nailed to the wall. Okay, we're gonna nail him up. We're gonna put pictures up on the wall, put some red ribbons, you know, putting everything together. We're gonna nail him to the wall, and he deserves to be nailed to the wall. And I'm gonna get the men together. But something isn't quite right. Okay, something isn't quite right because, right, according to the ex-wife, this seems to be cheating. There is more than one liar in this particular story. Okay. There's more than one liar. The ex-wife also feels like she's been pushed out. Now the question is, why did Bri allow for this young man, Tyler, okay, to actually go to court against her ex-wife to have the kids? Why? She just told us that she has many male figures. She doesn't need him. So why would she push her ex-wife out and battle with Tyler to get the rights for the children? Now, listen, I don't understand why Tyler would be involved in the first place either. He's a liar himself. Absolute cold-blooded liar. But the reality is, it's more than one liar in this story. And so before we, nail only one person, let's make sure we get the whole RICO together. Because in this situation, there are more than one criminal in this case. All right? And we are here today to nail them all. All right? Got to catch them all, as Ketchum would say. All right? And I'm not going to do it alone. I've got some few men with me to have a conversation because the story doesn't quite add up. The evidence doesn't seem to match what the stories are. Now, I absolutely understand where Ricky and Jessie Wu were coming from. Didn't necessarily want to create carnage in this area because it was more about the kids. Thank God for them doing that job. I can come behind them, do the dirty stuff. I'm like the investigator that does the stuff that you don't like doing. And so I'm going to do it today. Yeah, I'm going to do it today. I'm going to go behind the scenes and we are going to clean it up because there are liars on every corner and cranny of these stories. We got to ask some real questions today. Okay? Now, Tyler, I wanted to say this. I just want to say, Tyler, I do want to say, first of all, Tyler, the fact that you decided to go to a court to go and get the custody of the first child is diabolical. It's absolutely heinous and diabolical because you actually didn't need to be a part of that situation. Diabolical. Number one. Number two, okay, it's diabolical that you then end up being a hobosexual, living in her house, and then you impregnate her again. It is dire-freaking-bolical. Okay? All right? Dire-freaking-bolical for you to impregnate this lady again and then be on the aspect where you're running away. It is dire-freaking-bolical. Okay, as diabolical as my hat that is skewed at this moment, it is freaking-bolical, right? For you not to pay your child support and run around and go and get a new wife whilst you know you haven't sorted out this previous situation with extra months of finances left outstanding is freaking-bolical. It is not manly. It's not masculine. Okay, all right. It is unaccountable behavior. It is freaking-bolical. I can't put it anything else. We got to nail Tyler to the wall. I'm sorry. Okay, all right. You didn't have to be a part of this situation. That's the part that kills me the most. The first one, but the second one, Negro. What was in your mind that you're conceiving this to have a second child? A year on after. You can't be that much of a homosexual that you're willing to create life, my friend. I'm sorry. They got to nail you to the wall, and the fact that you went onto the show, lied again to Ashley is diabolical behavior. I'm gonna call it as it is. It is freaking-bolical behavior. It is unaccountable behavior, and it's nasty work. I'm just sorry, it's just nasty work. It is nasty work. Now, of course, Tyler, you haven't come out yet and said your story, so I'm willing to be open to hear another side of the story. I'm not going to put you into jail just yet, but for so far of what we've heard so far, it's looking freaking-bolical. Right? Right now, we're looking at 20 to 25 life at this point for the behaviors. Yeah? But we can't afford to have you in jail, so we need you to look after your kids, because if you don't look after them, someone else has to, and we don't want that to happen in the case. All right? Yeah? So for me personally, it's nasty work. Okay? Nasty work. It's nasty work that we got you also in a space having your girl come out and defend you. It is nasty work for you to be here and letting your wife come out and defend your bullcrap that you created and come and defend you without you saying anything yet about the situation, apart from sperm donors. It's freaking-bolical that your wife is getting all the heat and all the bullets. Now, she deserves some of the bullets, can't lie to you. Told you I'm the governor, yeah? Now, we'll tell you the truth, she deserves some of those bullets, all right? Yeah? Now, Ashley, baby, can I talk to you for a minute? I know you and your dad don't get along the way you wanted to get along, but darling, you didn't have to choose the same guy in your husband, did you? All right? It's diabolical at your point too, because you know that she texted you, you know that Bree reached out to you, you know that Bree had a conversation with you, you know that Bree had a talk with you, and she DM'd you. She came to you, you didn't go to her. It's diabolical that you then tried to flip it like she was apologizing for the fact that what? She lied? She didn't apologize for lying, darling. She apologized for blowing up your life. And you try to make it off like she was apologizing for lying or something. Darling, that is diabolical work, and it's giving you're learning from the master himself, Tyler. I don't like that kind of behavior. Okay? All right? We don't like that round here. The governor don't like that round here. Yeah? I don't like that, love that. I don't like that. Yeah? Your man is the first number one, but you're in row number two. Do you know what I mean? Rico charging everybody. Everyone's getting rounded up. Yeah? Because you've also lied here, darling. You didn't need to. Right? The way that you came about, right? And open your mouth, and you didn't know the full story. You didn't do your investigations. You didn't do your CRB checks. He's been evicted 7 times. 7 bloody times. And you're here defending him. 7 times he's been evicted, and you're here defending him like he is not a career criminal at this point. At this point, we don't need to be calling Ashley a victim at this point. It's like when you do commit a crime and you're like, oh, is it Stockholm syndrome? No. At this point, darling, you are a part of the criminal organization and the criminal ring. You are a part of the madness that's happening in this madhouse. Got to talk about it. You are a part of it now as well. Okay? All right? Now, darling, I don't know what he's going to do with a job situation, how he's going to pay the rent, but it looks like it's going to be on you, darling. Now, if that's what you want, hey, who am I to say anything? But, you've made your bed. You've got to lie in it now, right? I'm sure we'll see you very soon. All right? Now, another thing I want to talk about really, really quickly also is the situation as well with Bree and the ex-wife situation. All right, the ex-wife came out and told us about how she knew about Tyler and his freak offs. Well, darling, first and foremost, you knew he had a freak off, you knew he had a fiance at the time, and you guys were laughing, Pete and Patter in that woman's face. Girl, woman to woman and that. You know what I mean? Huh? Woman to woman and that. Yeah. Okay. All right. So you allowing Tyler to be up in your friendship group, knowing that you guys are doing freak offs. It's crazy work. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, you knew he had a fiance and he was having a freak off with her, with other ladies as well. You knew that he was in your friendship group, and then your missus is best friends with him, and you didn't think that's gonna blow back on you a little bit. You know what? But I've got less smoke for you. You're not the target of origin here. Bri, though, we gotta talk about Bri. Okay, Bri, we gotta talk about you because Tyler, absolute number one Uro. We want him first, nailed to the cross. Okay, take that back because only Jesus nailed to the cross. And then we got Ashley following right behind him, but we got Bri right behind him as well. Okay, we have to be right behind them because what the heck was going on? Yeah, why is it? Why I want to know. I want to know, Bri. I want to know from your lips why. Because in the whole conversation we were talking about how he left his kids, he did. But why did you have one? But two kids? It was obviously a twins. But why did you? What? You're a lesbian. What got into you, darling? Not only did it get into you, your ex-wife is telling us that you started saying Tyler's going to come over, change the light bulb. Tyler's going to take out the bin. Tyler this, Tyler that. So you said you got enough male in your family, but then it looks like, darling. So we got to ask the question: are you really a lesbian? We got to ask that question. Is she really a lesbian? Now, someone's telling me that sexuality is a spectrum. I need you to stop that. I need you to stop that, darling. According to her ex-wife, that ain't the spectrum she's trying to be on, right? When she told her she was a lesbian, she didn't tell her she was bi. Okay, that's not what her ex-wife was thinking. All right, let's stop that. We have to free her from that particular place. Bri also is a problem here too. All right, she's abusive, and then she also isn't necessarily bi. She isn't necessarily lesbian. She's bi. Something's not quite right either there in that story, right? She shut out her ex-wife to play house with Tyler. Something's not quite right here. Tyler is an absolute villain, and she allowed Tyler to come in and go out, come in and go out. Why? What? Why? What is it that Bri wanted that she allowed Tyler to keep coming in and going out, coming in and going out? When she just wanted the kids, why did she allow to keep going in and coming out? What's that about? Tyler, she is meant to be a lesbian. Why are you playing around with her? You know what I'm saying to you? Tyler, what's going on? You get enough gal. Why you have to say, what are you trying to do? Plenty of women that you get. Why? This meant to be your friend. So today, I'm going to say it again. Everybody has got a bit of a lying problem, all right, across the board, okay? Everybody has got a lying problem across the board, all right? So there goes my first initial, my first initial deduction of conversation. I'm going to bring on some of the men to have a conversation about what we just witnessed, the latest Jessie Woo breakdown, okay? Because we have to talk about it. You know what I'm saying to you? We've got 600 people in the room. Listen, if you are not a member, it's about to go members only in the chat. So if you're not a member, sign up, be a member. You know what I'm saying to you, all right? We're putting out quality content so you can enjoy. All right, the governor's spoken, you know what I mean? All right, if you're not a member, click on the dollar sign, get yourself a membership. It's £1, it's $1. All right, I made it cheap so you don't have to cry about it. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's £1, it's $1. Ain't gonna break your bank. All right, costs as much as something. All right, members only in the chat. All right, cool, fantastic. All right, cool. So, listen. All right, let's get it in. All right, let's get it in. All right, cool. Let me get the fellas on. Because today's a man's only conversation today. We're going to get the conversation because there's a bit of a madness going on today. And we got to have a discussion. All right? We got to have a discussion. Okay? Man them! Listen. It's been crazy. All right? It's been madness all across the board. You know what I'm saying to you? Too many things have happened. But we just saw a live with Jessie Woo. Okay? And we saw a live with Ricky, Storytime with Ricky. And Bri also as well. All right, I'll play a little bit of the clip. I want to get your opinions, your thoughts, all right, and just have a conversation around it as well. Okay, is that all right? But let me let you guys introduce yourselves first and foremost. From the top on my right hand side, we've got you, Easton, Primetime. Just introduce yourself, Captain. Let them know who you are.
What's up? It's Easton, aka Primetime Indy. Another great panel. Excited about talking about Tyler and Ashley's mess along with Bri. So yeah, let's get it.
All right. Love that. Trey, talk to them, my brother.
A liar, a cheater, deceiver, heartbreak. I won't take you back in my life. So I'm taking the house, the car, the kids, and the dog. I want it all. Listen, y'all know me as Trey. You know, I'm just here to support and come and talk about this ridiculousness. Because Lord have mercy, the lies, the lies, the lies. I was like, wow, this is deep. This is really deep. Like, bad, deep. I feel sorry for the kids. You gotta grow up in this mess. That's your daddy, that's your mama. Oh wow, this is crazy. But we're gonna get to it. We're gonna get to it.
Jay Anderson, introduce yourself, my guy.
What's happening, everyone? It's Jay Anderson King here. I'm just looking to have a good time. This has been a hilarious season, more so this particular situation, and I echo the gents' feelings. This is a crazy situation. Every week it's something else. We go back and forth. Okay, maybe this person's telling the truth. Next week, no, we don't think so. Now this person's maybe telling the truth. All we know that they all are just a bunch of liars. There's so much information that's missing. And yeah, we're going to talk about it because I think all of us have experiences where we know what really went on, but they don't want to admit it. But it's up to them.
Yeah, it's about to get a mad one still. So it's good to have you fellas on board. Do you know what I mean? And yeah, we're gonna break this down. So let me provide a little bit of clip for you guys as well, so you guys can see it. We'll go not necessarily to that because we already know about that in the show. Let's go to the main event. Let's play a little bit of the clip because obviously the conversation was had between Bri, Jessie, Ricky, conversation. So we'll play a little bit of clip and then we'll talk a little bit as well.
He agreed. We both agreed. I said, let me think about it. It took me a couple days. Talked to like my best friend, like, hey, this is like Tyler's asking to be his dad or step in as his dad. And I ultimately I agreed, like, okay, like, yes, you are biologically his dad.
Yeah.
To me at the time, this is admirable. Like, thank you for doing this. Like, sure, Cairo's gonna have another parent. Yeah, I never reached out to him and asked him for this. But I was grateful that he did want to step in. And this was before in Deshaun was like before any kind of custody battle. This was him purely doing this because he felt that Cairo was going to be raised by a single mom and he wanted to step up.
Okay. So this was
all right, fellas. First one here is that she says, right, that the reason why Tyler got involved is because he wanted to step up and he didn't want the children to grow up in a single mother-only home, which I can understand. But then obviously, you know, he's obviously now stepped away from the situation. So obviously, I want to get you guys, fellas, perspective. When you hear that little clip, what's your thoughts? What kind of ideas you get from hearing that particular part of the clip? What's your thoughts on this? Who would like to go first? Who's ready to open up the banks?
I'll go first.
Go for it.
So, let me just explain where I am first. So to me, yeah, in the beginning, they was all having their fun together. That's what I believe. I know they don't really want to talk about it, but they was all having their fun. Somehow Tyler and Bree caught some type of feeling, started doing their thing. I'm not saying it was regular, but it was enough that it made sense for them to use that as a way for, you know, Bree to get pregnant. It makes sense that Deshaun was being pushed out because the situation was not simply a turkey-based a sperm donor situation, but they obviously can't admit to her what the truth is. Now we got complex feelings involved. So I guess to answer your question, to me, it's purely based off the fact that this isn't what they're trying to make it out to seem. It's not just simply based on he just didn't want the kids to just not have someone around. No, there was way more to this situation that was convenient. Deshaun's gone, great. Now we can see what it looks like for us. Now we can see with our presence together, what can we do? That to me is what it was at the time. Very confusing, very complex, but to me, they was just doing what they felt was best at the time. But they're lying to themselves, even at that point in time, and they're still lying to each other now. For me, Tyler just woke up, just like a situationship. He realized one day, this is not what I want. This situation is too crazy. I'm not happy in the situation. I need to flee. And he did, just like a situationship. So he ended up being like his own father. This is how I see the situation. And I can speak more on this, but definitely want to hear what the other guys have to say as well. But before we move on to another question, but this is how I see the what happened in the beginning up to the point where he started to become flaky, and their friendship is done. There's no friendship. They can't be friends without the sex. They can't be friends without the parenting issues coming into it. There are promises that he probably made in the beginning that Bree's still holding on to. She's confused herself in terms of what she's holding on to. The kids are a convenient excuse. There is so much more going on right here. That's not going to be solved. I'll be honest with you. That's not going to be solved at all.
Go for it.
So I want to lay down the framework of, I love the work that Jessie and Ricky are doing, because they're able to get facts and get the documentation that does open us up to a lot more behind the scenes that we're used to, especially when it's he said, she said. I think the issue that I have maybe with their reporting is, one, since they are like listening and asking questions, it comes from a I guess pigeon-toed or a little bit more biased area. And so when we're discussing it, I want everybody just to think objectively, not go off of what you saw here, but you got to add some nuance into the flavor so you can get the full picture. To me, I think the original sin was Tyler doning, per se, the first child. That effectively broke off his relationship with his then fiance because he lied or didn't tell her. I'm sure any woman in that situation would ultimately break up with you, because I'm sure you don't want to have somebody else with your potential, with your husband's child or lineage within them. So all is normal, but I think from there it snowballed an effect of him just constantly being an omega level homosexual. Like, this dude here is a top level master manipulator and homosexual, but I don't think that all of everything that he's saying is a complete lie. I think it initially started off as sperm doning, and then as Bri and his relationship expanded and he needed Bri more, because I think that Bri had more leverage in that situation than he did, because he had 7 evictions. Like, for him to have his background checked, to get into an apartment constantly, and it seemed like every single time he was going back, he from all the other prior meetings and interviews that we are like hearing with women, even the woman page that he took $10,000 from, when he wasn't in a relationship or wasn't at Bri's house, he was either in his own apartment or slumming it up with another woman. So to me, it seemed like Tyler would initially get with Bri when he didn't have a home, prior to even going on Love is Blind, because he didn't have a house, and he would find, or another woman, and eventually he was just playing house in the meantime. So to me, it just seemed like a bunch of mess. It got murkier. I feel like eventually, I think there's some credence in the domestic violence aspect. It's allegedly, but I do believe that she and Tyler kind of concocted a plan to push Deshaun out. That seems somewhat reasonable, but to me, it's really murky, and we'll get into more of the specifics. But there was a lot of contradictions between what Deshaun was saying, between what Bri was saying, and even some of the other women that Tyler has been like coercing and manipulating in between there. So we'll get into that here in a little bit.
Primetime mentioned something, original sin. The original sin starts with the original sinners, and that's Brian and Tyler and their friendship, whatever that friendship is supposed to be, because it's all over the place right now. A lot of this stems from whatever conversations they've been having in private with each other, especially when they was in other relationships with other people. This is where a lot of this stems from. Everyone has a side in this, and you can tell everyone is trying to weave their story in a way that is going to at least make them either feel or look better than what it actually is. But when you actually look at the story, you can kind of tell what it actually is. People, I don't want to say bad people, but these are people just not making smart decisions. And it may lead you to be perceived as a bad person. How all this started, let's just keep it real. According to the ex-wife, which this part I do believe, they knew Tyler was a friend. He was just supposed to be a donor. You could tell she was iffy about him from Jump Street. Jump Street. My question is, if I'm right, my wife is so jumpy about this particular person, why are you pushing him into this situation? What conversations are y'all having that I'm not privy to? What's really going on here? You know, we're gonna get deeper into this, but yeah, it starts with them two together and their friendship. There's issues there. I think at one time there was a genuine love. I think there probably was a genuine love. They were genuinely friends, but they crossed the line and never knew how to cross it back because they kept crossing it and kept crossing it and kept crossing it. You know, so it starts with them two. Tyler, he's diabolical. We know. It's terrible. We know. We're gonna nail him too, but I'm sorry. Bree ain't far behind him. Maybe a step or two. Because a lot of this, when you look at it, does seem like, at least in the initial, she planned a lot of this herself. Because a lot of this is what she wanted. If you think about it, a lot of this is what she wanted. You know, so yes, I'm looking at Bree a little like, who are you really? What's really going on with you? Something's up. Something's up.
Like, you know, while you were still with your ex-wife is what she was implying. And I want to make that clear.
Quite frankly, were a mistake. Was never planning on having.
About a year later, right?
I got pregnant before Cairo turned 1. Yes.
Okay. So the twins come around pretty much right after Cairo. You have them kind of back to back. Was this supposed to be a donor situation as well? Because by then you are still legally married, but you're separated at this time. And from the court documentations that we were able to pull up when I did my live with Simone, it looks like you were like in separation mode, then, you know, divorce mode. So when we get to the twins, what is the understanding of that? Is that also a donor situation?
No, the twins, quite frankly, were a mistake. Was never planning on having multiple kids with Tyler. We had sex and I got pregnant, and there was never an agreement about parenting these children because I had sex and I got pregnant. So you're the dad, I'm the mom. We already have a son that we are agreeing to, and we were going to have 3 children.
Yeah. And just so that the audience is clear, because I know Ashley did state in her interview today that the twins were also like, she kind of just tried to group them in on your agreement with Cairo, and, you know, was basically saying that you got pregnant, like, you know, while you were still with your ex-wife is what she was implying. And I want to make that clear. That is not the case. She was far removed by the time you got pregnant with the twins.
Deshaun, or my ex-wife, left a couple weeks after Cairo was born. So we'll guesstimate October of 2017. The twins were born in April 2019. We can do math. I got pregnant in 2018. She was
far removed
around.
Yeah. And when me and Jessie spoke with your ex-wife, she actually mentioned that you actually considered not keeping the twins, and that was a decision you and Tyler came up with together to keep them. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah. I did not plan on having multiple kids with Tyler. That was not the plan. I even went to a clinic to terminate the pregnancy. And when I got there, I found out that I was having twins. I did not know before that. And after I found out that there was 2 babies in there, I could not go through with that. Tyler supported that decision. And we left the clinic. He was there with me at the clinic. And we left the clinic. We hugged. We were like, yep, we're about to have, like, he understood. Like, yeah, I can't do this with multiples inside of me, and we left the clinic knowing we were going to be parents of 3.
Can you talk to me about, so now you have 3 children, right? There's a point in time where you all are living together. What is that like? What is Tyler's responsibility? Talk to me about that.
Yeah, so when I was pregnant with the twins, he moved some stuff up. We were living in the same apartment building. I already said that. He moved a lot of stuff up upstairs into my apartment. It was a 2-bedroom apartment. And so he would just stay in there or stay with me to help me out with Cairo because I'm pregnant with twins. And we would go to like doctor's appointments together and stuff like that. But he did still have his apartment downstairs. And then as it got closer to the twins being born, we needed more space. We rented a house together to have a lot more space for these multiple children. And like I said in my other video, like he stayed in the basement, I stayed in the main bedroom. Like we just lived in the house together to co-parent these 3 children together.
Now, my only question outside of what's already been explored, because we're talking, because we're already talking about the story that's not been told, right? So anybody who's joining us, we already know that, you know, Tyler should take care of his kids. We're almost having a conversation about the story that's not being told. For instance, a question that immediately came to my mind was, why were y'all hunching again? Like, we never asked that question. Why did y'all start hunching again? Listen, by the way, I want anyone who's joined us to make it very clear. Tyler is abysmal and he is diabolical for looking after his kids. We already agree that. But I'm asking a greater question here. Not a greater question, but a question around the story again. Why are we hunching again when it was meant to be a situation, you know, with you know, 1 kid, which okay, but we hunching again, and I'm sure it wasn't one hunch, right? I'm sure it wasn't one little hunch, and it, you know, because if it was one hunch, I think she would have said, you know, it was one situation, it was stupid one moment. No, y'all were hunching. So what situation was it? Like, we didn't describe what the nature of the relationship was. You know what I mean? We didn't describe what the nature of the relationship was. What was your relationship? Were you guys together? Were you dating? Were you situationship? You know what I'm saying? What was the relationship? Because we got to a certain point. But that was my first kind of questions in my head in that moment. What's your guys' thoughts? I want to know what you guys are thinking. What you guys got thoughts in your mind? Yes, Easton.
My immediate thoughts go to throughout this entire like 7 years. Was Bri not dating anybody else? Like, we don't really talk about what was happening in the intermediate of whenever she found somebody, because I think it's very obvious that when Tyler had somebody, he was kind of out of there. And it seemed like a very kind of, you know, it seemed like that's the situation. But what happened when she had a relationship, were they just cool with Tyler sleeping in the basement or upstairs? Like, I think there's a lot of confusion. And to me, I think that we have to really dissect what's happening in this relationship on a daily or weekly basis. I think it would be really weird if I'm trying to start a relationship with somebody, and we know how Tyler gets down. He tells the women that these are just his sperm donor kids. They have no inclination, or his apartment doesn't look like he's taking care of kids. So they're like, it fits the story pretty good. But for Bri, what is she doing during this time? Because in my opinion, Tyler, she said it quite a few times in the speech, but she was really upset with Tyler this last time because it seemed like he had a track record of leaving every time. Either he got on his feet or he found a new love interest. And I'm really interested in what she was doing in those moments when she had somebody else, because I think that would cause some turmoil. And if she is engaged, like Ashley is insinuating in the bio files, I'm sure that there would, you know, cause some stress, cause some strife in a relationship. So that was some of the things I was thinking about whenever she was talking about that.
Trey or Jay can go. Whoever feels ready to go, feel free. Yes, Jay.
Yeah, I. I echo those sentiments. To me, it was a complicated situation. People were not being honest with each other where they stood, and I guess because she was confused about where she stood herself. So she's meant to be a lesbian all her life, so of course she's put herself in. To me, there wasn't a time where they was not sleeping together. Where they couldn't was because she was pregnant. Well, you can still sleep together when you're pregnant, but there was reasons why it may not have happened at a particular point in time. Yes, when he would find someone new, I guess naturally he didn't want to be around that much. I'm not saying it's a good thing, but that's just how he decided to roll. And that affected his relationship with Bree and also his relationship with his kids, wherever that relationship was. When that was done, or where he needed Bree, he'll be back around and they'll be still sleeping with each other. This is what I believe continued to happen up until nearer the time where he decided, well, I'm going to go in the show. And by the way, I do believe probably in 2022, he probably made it clear there's probably not going to be any us. This is not really what I want. But the issue there is, if you're going to make that clear, you can't keep coming back and doing the same thing. You can't keep doing that. And to me, this is what's happened. So he's just disappeared in a year ago. And for Bree, if we believe what she's saying, you're doing this again to me. I let you back into my life. This sounds like a situationship. I've let you back into my life, and you're doing this again to me. I cannot believe you're doing this. I was happy for you to do what you need to do. Maybe I recognize we're not going to build a life together or be together, but why are you doing this to me again? What's wrong? What's happening? This to me is what's going on. And yeah, it just creates a hole that to me, Tyler continues to dig himself in because he is not completely being honest with Ashley in all of our opinions. But at this point, he needs to be honest with the world. Not that he owes us anything, but I think it will do us as black men proud if he comes out and says, you know what, this was the situation. This is a decision that I made. It was a wrong decision. I messed around, but I'm going to step up as a man and put things right. I do not want to have kids out there just like my father did. I want to make a different decision. This is what I'm expecting from Tyler, not to allow his wife to be on the front line trying to defend him when there's so much holes in this that it's indefensible. It's just ridiculous now.
As far as them sitting together, I wanted to give Bree. I was going to call it bail, but it's not going to sound like bail actually. I think how this all really got started when her and her wife was trying to conceive. They were going through the turkey basin situation, and Deshaun was very clear about what happened each time. They tried for 2 months, and she got pregnant, quote unquote, in the 3rd month. But when they went to the clinic and checked what the actual date of conception, it was 6 weeks prior. It was 6 weeks prior. So that's how she knew, obviously, wait a minute. Something else was going on. What I think was happening, I think they was trying to go through the donations, and she wasn't getting pregnant because they was going through the donations. They would check a few days afterward to check and see if she conceived, and it wasn't happening. What I think happened was Bree went to Tyler offline from her wife. It was like, hey, how about we just go ahead and do this the old-fashioned way? And got the lash. Got lashed up pretty good. And now to Jay's point, a part of me does think that it's actually been happening, and they've just been keeping it on the low. They've always had probably a very down low physical relationship with each other, and they were best friends at the same time. It happens, you know. Us men, we might have had a friend back in the day was like that. Yeah, we friends, but on the low, every now and then it happens. The problem is with these lives starting. Tyler obviously is down for the mess, because any dude I know, if you look at this situation, why would you even step your foot into this? This ain't cool over here. Like, these are a lesbian couple one is your friend, they're trying to have a child. First of all, they came to you for donations. If you really trying to be a nice guy, I can understand. Hey, you know what? I'll help y'all out. We'll go through this little process. But at one point, did you think it was okay? You know what? How about we just sleep together and everything was just going to turn out okay? Because either way, you're helping your best friend cheat on her wife. Either way you do it, something's going on behind her back. Something. Now, as they go forward in this situation, Tyler, there was something Ashley has said. It sounded ridiculous, but given what we know from what all parties have said, this might be true. Ashley said that Tyler didn't feel secure, or he felt confused about the situation with Bree. Everything got very confused. Do y'all remember that? That you say he just felt all confused. At the moment, I was like, really, dude, get out of here. But I was like, hold on. Let me actually put myself in this situation if that was me. I'm in a situation where I'm having this physical relationship with my friend that's supposed to be a lesbian. We all know she's actually bi, but she keeps saying that she's a lesbian, but she keeps falling on D. Hey, that's her problem. That's her problem to deal with. But you in this situation, the reason why Bree kept saying he's coming and going is because he is coming and going. I think there were times where Tyler actually tried to, hey, how about we just go ahead and figure out a relationship between us and raise his kids and be together. I don't think Bree wanted that because she was still a lesbian. She wanted a relationship with a woman, but she also didn't mind, as she says, or wanted Tyler there as support. Because if you notice, every time she said anything, especially when it came to her ex-wife, whatever they were going through, Tyler was the first one there to defend her, have her back in all of it. No questions asked. He's just there. Just there. Pick it up quick, easy. It's a bit strange. But you kind of do that for a friend. But if a man is doing that for a woman, it don't matter if you're gay or not, whatever, he's doing that for a woman, I think there's some real emotions there with her. He really has feelings for her. I think he was actually willing to have a relationship with her. But she didn't. She just wanted probably the D on the regular, whatever, because that's how they had the twins. The next following year, they kept sleeping with each other. So if I'm a dude, I'm sitting there, wait a minute, okay. I'm in a situation where I'm having these kids with this woman. She actually doesn't really want me as in a relationship sense, but I'm just Uncle Dad that lived downstairs, the basement's in and out. That's confusing. That would be confusing. I can see it how that could be confusing for some men. Because I'm confused. Mm-hmm. Very confusing. I can see where, okay, I am half in and half out of the situation. And he's actually living like he's half in, half out. Because part of his coming and going that she complained about, he only went when he actually got into some type of relationship with another woman. That's when he left. Each and every time you look at it, it was always when he got into a relationship with another woman. And he's no fool. Most women is going to look at that particular situation like, wait a minute, in the house. What's going on? You got to get out. But Bree would, when that relationship ends, Bree would allow him to come back. There's a lot of back and forth, and they did it on both sides with each other. Both of them together would deal with each other, would allow each other to come back in their own space. So it's the both of them.
Appreciate Trey. Yeah, let's get to the next part. It's actually what you just discussed. I'll keep this one a bit shorter, but it's just on what they discussed.
2019. So he was still around after we moved out of this house for a good amount of time. But in late March of 2021, he did cut ties with us. And we didn't hear from him until late March of 2022.
Okay, so we just about a year.
Yeah.
This is kind of like, I don't know, I just thought about this, but this would be going a little backwards. But if you want to speak on this, you can. If you don't, you don't have to. There was someone who was in Tyler's life who said that she was his fiance, and that when going back to when you were pregnant with Cairo, that he brought her to your gender reveal, but didn't tell her that Cairo was his son. Were you privy to that?
I didn't know if he told her or not.
But you knew that she was his fiance.
Yeah, for sure. We were, yeah, I was around her. She did come to our gender reveal. But it was a donor situation. I didn't think it was like such a bad thing. If he was hiding it, okay, then yes, I see how that's like.
Yeah.
That sucks for her, which I later found out, obviously, like that he did, and she didn't know, and it just turned into a very bad situation. But that was not, like, I wasn't doing it behind her back. It was
no, not you. I mean,
just a quick one, lads, on this one. Just a quick one. I'll get your thoughts on this, because that's kind of, I think it's interesting, right? Because I think, as I said, I think everyone's got a little bit of a lying problem, right? Because Tyler, they know Tyler, she knows Tyler because they're friends. So imagine, yeah, would you not ask me, like, bro, like, before you do this, does your fiance know? Does your fiance know you're doing this? Because you're about to give me your sperm. So just like, would you, like, it's common courtesy to ask. So if he then lies, then he's the one that's admissible. But if you never asked, I'm like, wait, but aren't you guys friends? So surely you would have asked to say, like, okay, like, does she know? Because I know you got a fiance. You know what I'm saying to you? They surely got a fiance, so like, just want to make sure that she's okay with that. You know what I'm saying to you? I don't mind having a conversation with her. You know what I'm saying? To make sure. But then that's why I realized that I feel like, for me personally, I feel like Bry's main focus was getting a kid at all costs, even if it meant costing her wife. This is what I'm saying. I'm not. By the way, I want to make it very clear. I do not equate Tyler and Bry. They are not on the same level. Ty is freaking There is no level for anybody to match him. I don't think anyone should match Ty and her together, because he's consistently lying across the board to every single person and still lying now. But what I would say is, a liar met a liar, right? And two liars got together in this situationship. But the problem is now we've got children involved in this situation as well. So her goal of getting kids was, she said, at all costs, I don't even care if it costs me my wife. I don't mind. I will get the kid, because the ex-wife of Tyler, you know, the ex-wife of Tyler, you know about her. So I would have thought that she might have asked a question like, hey, does your ex-wife know? Is she comfortable with this? Why are we not having conversations with her? Because bear in mind, that's your partner. Before you go and do this thing, you're not independent of her. You know what I mean? Like, just doing it anyway. It's just almost like the situation with Mendici and freaking old girl who was doing the exact same thing. Like, everyone's got to be involved in the conversation. So that was a little bit of an odd one for me. That's why I said that I feel like everybody's lying here. But just quick thoughts. I'm going to move it on quickly again. What your thoughts were on this situation, boys? Just quick ones.
I'll hurry up and throw some out there. This is what happens when you try to rig something up. And I was going to say the N word, but just when you try to rig something up and cut corners, because you really they supposed to really like meet the sperm donors, or like they already know Tyler, but they really supposed to have had a open communicate. Well, they really should have paid for it, but they wanted to be cheap. So they went with Tyler because they knew he was evicted and they probably could get it for cheaper or something like that. But they should have probably had a conversation or a sit down in regards to them doing that and how that looks to be, because the fiance was the most innocent person in the situation. But I honestly don't think that, like, I think we're giving Tyler far too much credit. Like, this dude ain't that smart. The dude, he ain't good with money. He been evicted 7 times. So he's only smart enough to, you know, be a homosexual. But I think we're really giving Tyler too much credit. And I think that Bri had her own motives in, you know, wanting kids. Obviously, Deshaun said she wanted 3 kids before 30. So, you know, the time is ticking. So let me just hurry up and kind of push this thing along. And Tyler, I'll leave with this. I think that a hungry dog is only loyal to whoever feeds it. and Bri was constantly feeding Tyler because he had nothing else. He had no home. So he constantly kept going back, but he was loyal to her until he got on his own feet, in my opinion. But I'll leave it at that.
Hey, Bree had Tyler in pocket for the most part. She had him in pocket exactly where she wanted him. Remember, she chose Tyler. She said, hey, why don't we, when she was talking to his wife, hey, how about we use Tyler as a donator of all people? But she chose that. She made that choice. And to this whole thing, listen, Tyler's a terrible liar. Terrible liar. Cole is right. He's not that smart. He's really not that smart. He's a terrible liar. Bree ain't too far behind him. Not too far when you really look at it. It's like, wait a minute. Because she orchestrated a lot of this in the beginning. She's the orchestrator. A lot of this is her decisions that we're looking at here. We're suffering looking at this all from her decisions. But I think Bree had Tyler in her back pocket a little bit because, yeah, he kept leaving. Whenever you get in a relationship, he'll dip out. But the reason why Bree didn't have to ask Tyler, you know, do your fiance know this and that, she didn't care. That's the reason why she really didn't ask. She didn't care as long as she got what she wanted out of the situation. Why would she ask? She got what she wanted.
Yeah, I don't even have to say much on this. When you go back to the beginning, I mean, if we believe what Deshaun said, freak offs and different things were happening. If we read in between the lines, we know or we believe that they was also involved. So there's a level of respect that none of them are going to have for the fiance or any woman that comes along. You know, he's probably brought a whole bunch of women around him. We don't know how long they've actually been friends for, unless one of them have said it. So I can understand why, as she says in this in the interview, she didn't even think to ask. She didn't think it'll be a problem. But how couldn't you not? If you generally have a relationship with your best friend's fiance, of course you're going to have those concerns. So it shows that didn't exist. That never existed at all. Now, if you put that onto Tyler, I mean, to be honest with you, it's easier for him to stay silent than to say anything and then have to start admitting and everything unravel. So I can see why he didn't say anything. I can clearly see why, but I can also see why Bree decided, I'm going to stay away. I'm not going to mention anything myself. I'm not going to ask him nothing. It's not my business. I've got what I want from this situation. This is what it is. Do you know what? She's probably not going to last too long anyway. This is just how I see the situation in the beginning. And I think it's just gone in a way that's hurt Bree the most. And she's feeling it. She's angry because of it, as she should. And most importantly, now we've got 3 kids. 3 kids at stake who she says completely adore their father. And as a father of 2 myself, my oldest that I've raised for most of my life, trust me, knowing how much your kids want to see that other parent and knowing that's not possible, that will kill you on the inside. Absolutely kill you on the inside. So yeah, that's all I'll say in this, because all of you, what you said is completely accurate. I agree with all of it.
Cool. Let's speed it up to obviously when they start to want the receipts, because I think we'll be here too long and maybe we can do another day. But the receipts obviously came out because obviously now we've got to talk a little bit about obviously the line that happens with the Ashley situation too. So let's break that down.
I ended up giving him 2 days because it's not easy for me to put out all my business. So he ended up having 2 days, didn't hear anything back, and I posted my side of the story, and then I got blocked.
So that's why. So that's what made you end up giving your side. You gave him time to have her and you be able to facilitate a conversation, and he never responded, basically.
No, he never came back to me and said, and this is no fault to Ashley. I don't know if he even told her, right? I have no idea. I told him, and I didn't hear anything back. So I was like, all right, well, guess we're good. I guess I'm gonna, tell my side of the story. Not my side. It's not even my side. It's the truth. I guess I'm gonna tell the truth.
Yeah. To me, it's quite obvious that he was trying to get you to be quiet before that reunion was filmed, because these interviews that we're seeing, Nick Vile, the other one she did, like I've got the receipts, those were all filmed within the same week. So if had your videos been out that week, they would have had to question about what you said.
Yep.
But because they weren't, he could use your statement that you posted and say, oh, but she deleted it. So that's all they had to go on by the time these episodes were aired. And I know you mentioned that you got blocked. I understand Ashley blocked you once you posted your original videos. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah.
But let's back up a bit, because on the Vow Files, Ashley says that you reached out to her and that you apologized to her. Can you kind of?
Yeah. I will say I am very sad that the way that I intended those messages to come to her, she didn't receive it the way I intended. I was not apologizing for me, I don't know, causing stress in their lives. I reached out to her because I imagined my life had already started flipping upside down. And I imagined the same was happening for her. And at the time, I assumed that she did not know the full truth and that she was just getting all this backlash from people off of, something that wasn't her fault. And so I reached out to her and I'm like, hey, like, I'm so sorry that all this is happening. Basically, like, I'm sorry that that the truth is causing issues for you, or like you're getting backlash from the truth when you didn't have like a say, you didn't have an option because you didn't know the truth, is what I thought in my mind. I was not apologizing, I don't know, I guess for some lie. Like I didn't lie about anything that I said.
Yeah, because that's how she.
Funny,
yeah. The way she's.
If you read those DMs, like
let's read them.
Very clear to me that you are not apologizing, saying like, I'm sorry, I've wronged you. That's not how you were apologizing.
Yeah, here is what Bri says. Hi, super hard for me to write you right now, but I just wanted to say I hope you are okay, and I'm praying for you and Tyler both. A lot is happening right now, and I just never wanted to intentionally cause you any pain. I won't say much in this forum, but just wanted to reach out and say I hope you are okay. Completely understandable if you never respond to me. I'm sure your world is just as crazy, if not more so, than mine right now. I wish you the best. Ashley says, hi, was surprised to get the message, but I welcome it. As well. Getting attacked daily on social media is never fun, but I'm strong. Thanks for reaching out. Before we even continue, I'm sorry. So we ain't gonna ask Bri, hey, I'm so sorry about the kids. We're not gonna apologize about the kids. So
and to me,
nobody cares.
Yeah, to me, this is ridiculous that this is the first time that you are reaching out. She said on a previous podcast I did a deep dive. I talked to everybody involved, but you didn't talk to the mother of his children until she had to reach out to you while the show was airing. Like, y'all have been married and he's been absent for a year at this point, and you never reached out to her.
That's why I said they're all liars, because you see how, like, obviously Ashley's obviously lying too, right? We're saying obviously Ashley didn't reach out to Bri. She's actually right. Ashley's lying too. But it's interesting that Bri obviously reached out to Ashley on this occasion. You know what I mean? Of course, we know it's because of TV, so that's the reason why. Not because she's trying to get fame or anything, but because she don't want to get dragged. But that's what I was saying about giving the due diligence, because see how you're giving the due diligence here? That's all the ex-fiance of Tyler needed. Just a little bit of due diligence. Hey, do you know about the situation? But it would have been a bit far-fetched anyway. But hey, I'm being a bit far-fetched. But focusing on what just happened on here, taking aside my little joke about that little situation. Obviously, we find out that obviously Bri did reach out to Ashley. Ashley obviously responded. Ashley played it off like she was apologizing to her about the situation. The text messages were very much, I would say, they were inconspicuous, right? Not necessarily. It seemed like Ashley was kind of like making sure that, you know what, she ain't even trying to acknowledge the fact that the kids are. She didn't even want to even make it a possibility that the kids are Tyler's by his own kids. She played it like no, they are sperm, and that's all I see it as. They're sperm donors, and they are sperm donors. You know what I'm saying, Chi? And so that's how she played off those receipts. I want to get you guys' thoughts as well around that area. What your thoughts were now in terms of the interaction between Bri and Ashley, what your perspective was. Trey, talk to me. What's your perspective on this situation?
I will say everything from pretty much from what I've seen, everything from the block of before Tyler went on the show, maybe months before then, up until now, I think Bri has said the absolute truth. Mainly because you got the evidence to back it up. For what the conversation we said through the text and everything, it's been the absolute truth. This is where she is 100% on it, and you can hear the confidence in her voice that she's 100% on it. Yeah, she been in yes. Her and Tyler still has some type of relationship, friendship going on before he came on the show. She encouraged him to go on the show. He goes on it, in contact with him when he finally gets his phone back, continuously, and then he gets ghosted. Now, it's at this point where Tyler ridiculousness starts. Because after he finally told Ashley probably the truth or what happened or whatever it is, I think they concocted this whole idea plan. She probably told him, you know what? Nah, this don't the kids, you really ain't their daddy, this and that and third. We just gonna cut that contact or whatever they decided, because it really don't make sense. It really don't make sense. You were literally there in those kids' life, in her life. You go on the show, find a new chick, and now you go. Well, no, actually, it goes for far. It's what he always does, right? He gets a new chick, and he's out. This is the MO by now. This is the MO. So he's on brand. Tyler's doing exactly what Tyler has always done. We just all know about it, and it looks terrible. But it's been completely on brand how he's always acted. The only question is, yes, now you're saying he's going to stay at the kid's life forever, going to put on child support. We see how that code goes out. And my only question is, after this all happens, are you going to be on brand? And if that ever ends, let him back in the door again? Because you've been doing that too. He leave out, new chick, go away for about a year. If you notice, it's always like a year mark. He disappear ass. Y'all remember that movie? Disappearing ass. Always disappear for about a year and then come back. Same thing. So if everything goes down here with Ashley, and maybe another year from now, or whatever, he tries to spin that block and get back in your life and those kids' life, you gonna allow it? That's my question.
I was gonna say in regards to that, I think that in regards to Ashley and how she's responding, she embellished it. Okay, she embellished their conversation, lied. But I honestly have to take a step back and like, she's trying to salvage them brand deals because she gonna need to pay off the child support and all the people he owe and all this other stuff. So she's trying to save the image. I'm just saying, if I was in her shoes, I'd probably be, just swinging that air, grasping at straws too, because I don't think, even if they said, okay, we're just going to step up and take care of the kids. Do y'all really, really want Tyler to be involved in them kids' life? The only thing he can teach them is about manipulating and embezzling funds, allegedly, or he can't teach them about real estate because he can't keep a home. Which I want this man to do. He's a Rolling Stone. And so, in my opinion, we got to get out of this mind frame of like just making people step up for just because they want to step up. He's not fit. Ashley, she's gonna be Cinderella's stepmama. Why are you gonna put the kids in there? Why would I want that to happen? So if I was in their shoes, or even just going back to the original statement, she definitely embellished and said a lie. Bry's definitely telling a truth about the later portion, but if we're looking at also at as a result, like, do y'all really want this man to be involved? Like, he's not fit. He don't even got a house. I don't even think he got a check in his savings. What we gonna do with this? He can't teach the kids about nothing. So this is my 2 cents.
To be honest, how I feel is that once you're in a delusion, everything that comes to you after that is going to be in a particular lens. So you're not going to see anything properly. So she's looking at this situation as, I guess, Bree's the problem. What Tyler said to me about what's been happening, that's what I believe. I don't know what receipts he's shown. Maybe he's just a great talker. Maybe the way he emotes privately, she's been able to connect somehow. Maybe she's truly ride or die. This is the man I want, so regardless, I'm with him anyway. We don't know what's going on, but to me, clearly this wasn't an apology to her that like Bree was saying, you know, as if she's completely in the wrong, but it's just the way she took it, and this is how she's going to stay for now. For me though, what I will say is that I've seen it in the comments, and my missus said the same thing, that she's going to end up leaving. And I think this alludes to what you were saying, Prime, in terms of brand deal. So is she delusional, or is she just trying to keep what she needs to keep for now, and then down the line when things die down, then she's going to walk away and actually tell us the real truth?
That's a good question. That's a good question indeed, bro. I can't lie to you on that one. You know, that's a real question right there, to be honest. In that sense as well. All right, let's talk a little bit about. We'll go to a situation. Well, actually, no, we'll keep it here for now. I've just been watching stuff behind the scenes. They're going to address a bit more, so we'll listen to that and we'll go on.
You get this message, this top message from her.
Yes. So she says, hello, I wasn't around for your convo with Tyler, but I would like to have a convo with you as well at some point. This thing has turned filthy. I've never given my energy to so much negativity and evil in my life. For reference, Tyler told me a lot off camera to avoid this very thing happening. Now I'm seeing birth certificates out there and more. It's just out of hand. I know I technically was not an involved party at the time of y'all's agreement, etc., but we all are adults, so would like to speak with you directly. So if you're open to it, no pressure. You say hi, that's fine with me. Are you looking for clarity on Tyler and his situation? She says, not necessarily clarity though. Girl, what the fuck you looking for? I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry. Girl, what the fuck you looking for?
No, that's a good question. I was confused too. I was like, okay, why are we talking? And I wasn't trying to be rude though. So I was just like, what are you looking for clarity? Like why do we need to speak?
Yeah. She said, not necessarily clarity though. I welcome your perspective. Girl,
Yeah. The language is wild. Like, I welcome what you gotta say, but
oh my God. There are children. There are 3 children, ma'am. I welcome your perspective, side of it all. I'm a girl's girl.
I welcome your side. Like, I'm not going to tell you what your truth is. I welcome your side.
I'm a girl's girl and don't want to say what your truth is, but I just think it's due time for you and I to have a chat, given that I'm being hounded via social media about everything. You say, I completely understand. All of this is whooping my ass mentally. I'm down to talk with you though. She says, cool. When would be good for you? You say, are we doing this on the phone? And then she hits you back with, hey, so I've heard your mother put out another video. I wanted to meet with you, honestly, just to put all this to bed and to hear you out as well, if you'd like. And to actually show that the overall goal for us has always been protecting the innocent parties here. Truly, that includes what we decided to share or not share while filming to avoid the very thing that is happening now. My heart and my intentions are always in the right place, and I wish you knew me in real life to know that. But now I have to say I'm a little uneasy with meeting up just because it's gotten so messy. You respond, hey, I honestly don't know what you know and what you don't know, but the fact that my mom is pissed off is warranted, period. In my opinion, I can't pretend that I am not also very hurt and angry by everything that has transpired publicly. My whole world has turned upside down because of this. And as much as I try to refrain from telling my mom certain things, because we are very, very much different in how we respond to things, she sees the pain this has caused me. I do not question your intentions at all. I do not hold anything against you. All you can do is go off of what you've been told. Just like everyone else, I want to believe what Lila said. She said Tyler, but I'm going to say Lila. I want to believe what Lila said so bad because all I want is for this to be over, but it's tough. It truly is. And I understand being uneasy. This has been messy since the beginning, though. And if I'm being completely honest, it's nobody's fault but Tyler's. Period. I still wish y'all absolutely the best, and I hope it all ends soon. And that's that. And I'm sorry, you're giving so much grace, but nobody's acknowledging the fact that these are your kids, you are their mother, and you had to deal with their father going on national television and denouncing them to the world. Like, I'm really kind of shocked here that is just never mentioned, not once. Like, hey, yeah, social media's beating my ass, but I just want to say, I'm sorry for what's going on with you. I'm sorry about your kids. I know this must be hard for them. Let's meet up. Let's talk.
Yeah, and then after that nice message that Bri sends her, Bri posted her videos very shortly after and Ashley blocked her.
My question is, why do you think that Ashley is denying? Well, not even denying, and she's denying. But why do you think Ashley is so seemingly cold towards the kid situation with Bri? Someone put a really good message in the chat about, maybe because Tyler told us some things about Bri that only Tyler knows, as well. So I want to get you guys' perspective. Jay, you first, and then Trey. Why do you think Ashley is denying these kids? And why has it got to a point where we're at right now where you're DMing and Ashley just seemingly isn't talking to Brian and everything like that?
From the very beginning, it's been a year, 12 months. I know Tyler would have said specific things to try and make sure that Ashley's on his side. And that would be a lot of personal information about what his friendship or relationship, whatever you want to call it, has been like with Bree for all of these years. That's why she said, this is just a situation where he tries to do the right thing, but he fell in a bit too deep. Things got complicated. This is why she said on the interview the other day that he doesn't have any, legal rights to the kids or whatever she said on there. In her mind, there is a total disconnect. There is a total separation from what we might believe it is compared to what Tyler's saying it is. She has to do her own research, unless Tyler's going to be honest. She has to do her own research herself. But at the same time, is she going to do that? No, because it's going to jeopardize what she thinks, what she believes, what she's built with Tyler. So she's going to choose her husband. She's going to say, okay, babe, this is your situation to deal with, but I'm going to disconnect myself from being emotionally involved in this situation. I believe you based on what you're saying to me, and this is just what it is. That's what I think is going on. And it's a tactic that millions of people use. How many times have you got, we got gents on here, right? How many times have you got with ladies and what they continuously say about their exes, it makes you completely think that, that person was crazy, evil, etc. Over time, you start to think, is that true? But that's because you're being open-minded. You're seeing what's going on. In some situations, if she has a baby father, then you may see what's happening on the other side. Not very often do we shut ourselves off completely and just become oblivious, but evidently that's what she's done. And I guess she's done it to protect herself, to protect whatever she's trying to build with Tyler. It is what it is. That's the only way. Again, unless some people say it's complete delusion, I'm 50-50. I think there's both going on in some sort of way, but yeah, this is just what I feel.
Jay just hit it on the head, basically, is where I was going to go at. I think Tyler dropped some tea. He dropped some heavy tea, and I'm going to be honest, it was probably very factual tea. Very factual tea that probably was backed up. It's the reason why she said, I talked to his friends and family and they corroborated whatever he said. Whatever he told them, yes, they could be going with the lie with him too or whatever, but usually in these situations, whenever someone has had a tumultuous past in another situation, I usually take them at about 80% truthful for what they ever said because it's something they went through. But I'm also cognizant that there's another side to this, and I'm also more susceptible to say, wait a minute, I hear you saying all what this other person did, but when you don't bring up your own faults of what may have caused it, that makes me look at you in a certain type of way as well. Like, okay. Now, Tyler, in this situation, I could see how this could have happened. He probably dropped some tea that he himself was a part of, that he wasn't afraid to let known about himself. Because it'll be the truth. Like, yeah, I was a part of this, whatever, but she was right there along with me. So yes, Ashley's perception is going to be persuaded to look at Bree in a certain type of way. Happens all the time. Now, there's a part of me that I think two things can be right at the same time. Is Ashley being a little delusional? Yes. I think she's choosing to be a little delusional, though. I think Jay spoke on this as well, and Asher Prime did as well. And Coach Drew kind of been alluded to this. Asher may be setting herself up for the future. Because when I see her talk about this, all I see is I'm setting myself up to be the victim as well. That's what I see when I hear her talk about this all the time. Especially the time when everything has come out. Because a lot of this stuff that we saw, the interviews we saw here, it was literally right before all the real tea dropped. So now, if she comes out all of a sudden, oh God, I didn't know this is terrible. Oh, I feel so terrible, so bad, whatever. Now she's going to be looking for sympathy from everybody that she was fooled too. Which I don't think that's actually the case. I think she, I kind of believe her when she says, oh, I know fully what's going on. Because at the end of the day, she could still play like, oh, I was fooled as well. I thought I knew, but I didn't. She's shooting herself on her own foot on this, but I do think she's trying to set herself up for down the road. A little bit.
I think that's fair. I just honestly think Ashley has a vision of how she wants her life to be. She seems like the type of woman who I want this type of man, and I want this type of wedding, and I want the very particular, very specific, high achieving. So she's such a high achieving person that she can almost control every aspect of her life. And maybe the love aspect wasn't the one that she could control. She might have dated somebody and they might not have been as serious. And with Tyler, she done went through this experiment. Although he done lied, she said in her mind she can will this into existence. And then he's on the other hand manipulative to the point where he's telling her things that kind of cooperate. Oh, well, which are half truths. Well, they're sperm donors. One of them's a sperm donor. The other one was a oops baby. The twins were oops babies. Then you got, well, the kids don't know me, or I'm not there all the time. Well, he's there when he needs a home, and he's gone when he's trying to get himself on his feet. But, Tyler can't keep an apartment active. So that ain't too long. And so he's right back with Bree. I think with Ashley, it's just that she's telling herself a story, or she wants to build this story up of how she imagines or envisions. And she also doesn't want her relationship to be like her father's. She probably is like, oh, I couldn't be me. She's a couldn't be me type of person. Couldn't be me. I would never do that. And so in my opinion, she got from Tyler the things to make her say like, oh, it's just him in his situation, and he was really a sperm donor. And also she's just trying to save them brand deals. I don't know why we're coming so hard down on Ashley, because I think if a lot of us were in their shoes, we'd be doing the same thing. Like I'm seeing the money pour down the drain, not only because of Tyler and him owing tons of people money, but I'm a brand risk at this point. So I got to salvage it some way.
Listen, they're going hard. They want to go, well, most of the women want to go hard on Ashley because they feel like she broke girl code and she's not being a girl's girl. That's what's going on with that. And it may not be wrong. So
I like to think in these situations, we try to be really, really like, oh, I would just do this, that, and the third. Look, I put a lion's share of the responsibility on Tyler, but in terms of with Ashley, I think she's being a bird brain. Yeah. But I also think that she's trying to uphold an image, like regardless of what we want to say, all them people on Love is Blind have been trying to lie and keep an image because they see the dollar signs on the other end. Now, if I'm Ashley, if I can spin this thing around as he's stepping in for this lesbian couple and doing all this, I would have a hard time saying 90%. Most people would do that. And we just got to stop the cap because most people would.
I heard it. I just don't think she's going to leave him. Okay, she ain't going to leave him. Let's discuss a little bit more about Tyler now, because obviously, I know obviously we know that Ashley. Actually, we'll get to Tyler in a bit because we've got a bit more time. So, but obviously the situation, obviously the receipts obviously were put out there, so I can go into the receipts for you guys. I mean, I guess the receipts of reading of what Ashley said This one says, hello, I wasn't around for your convo with Tyler, but I would like to have convo with you as well at some point. This thing has turned filthy. I've never given my energy to so much negativity and evil in my life. For reference, Tyler told me a lot of off camera to avoid this very thing happening. Now I'm seeing birth certificates out there and more. It's just out of hand. I technically was not involved party at the time of y'all's agreement, but we are all adults, so you would like to speak with you directly if you're open to it. No pressure. She says hi, and then obviously old girl says hi. That's fine with me. Are you looking for clarity on Tyler and I's situation? She says not necessarily clarity though. I welcome your perspective of it all. I'm a girl's girl. Don't want to say what your truth is, but I just think it's due time for you and I to have a chat. Given that I'm being hounded by social media and everything. Says I completely understand all of this, etc. Right? But the next set of text goes, Ashley goes, hey, so I've heard your mother put out another video. This is the part I did. I guess obviously the mother's now involved in the situation. I think this is also quite interesting, right? This is quite interesting as well, because I think obviously now the situation with obviously the Bri, now the mother's involved, it gets even more messier. I said the same thing about when Ashley's dad started doing a TikTok. I didn't want him to do a TikTok. Why are you involved? Do you know what I'm saying to you? Be involved behind the scenes, not on the internet. You know what I'm saying to you? For me personally, let your kids handle the internet business, but you go behind the scenes. You want to handle Tyler. But let me behind the scenes. I just think it gets more messy the more mouths get onto it. But that's just my personal opinion on that. But anyway, let me read on. So obviously, I wanted to meet with you, honestly, just to pull out all of this to bed and to hear you out as well, if you like, and to actually show that the overall goal for us has always been protecting the innocent parties here. Truly, that includes what we decided to share or not share while filming, to avoid the very thing that's happening now. My heart and my intentions are always in the right place. I wish you knew me in real life to know that, but now I have to say I'm a little uneasy with meeting up just because it's gotten to be so messy. She says, hey, honestly, I don't know what you know and what you don't know, but the fact that my mum is pissed off is warranted, in my opinion. I can't pretend that I'm not also very hurt and angry by everything that has transpired publicly. My whole world has been turned upside down because of this, and as much as I try to refrain from telling my mum certain things because we are very much different in how we respond to things, she sees the pain this has caused. I do not question your intentions at all. I do not hold anything against you. All you can do is go off of what you have been told. Just like everyone else, I want to believe what Tyler says so bad, because all I want is for this to be over. But it's tough. I understand being uneasy. This has been messy since the beginning though, and I am being completely honest. It's nobody's fault but Tyler's. I still wish y'all the absolute best and hope it ends soon. Okay. So those were the text messages. I don't think they had any more text messages after that, to be fair. They might have asked her a few more questions around it. Let me just see if there's, I think they mentioned something. Hold on. Okay.
I would text him and be like, hey, I went to the grocery store. Like, it's something as small as that. And he would be like, okay, I'm gonna send you half. Or, hey, I have to buy flights so me and the kids can go home to Louisiana, and he would send money for that. Or they need shoes or just whatever. I would just text him and he would just send whatever. We already said we got into it about something financially, and he cut him off. So after that, I was like, okay, you cut him off, and you're also not paying. So I'm gonna, file for child support. After we came to the agreement, like, that he was going to pay child support, because that was an agreement. No judge said, hey, you're going to pay child support. We agreed on the amount. He paid for like a year. And then he switched his jobs and said he couldn't pay. I didn't file for contempt. He was back in the kids' lives. And I was like, all right, just, hey, come around, spend time with them. That's more important than the money right now. And I understand you're in between jobs, just trying to be understanding. So he paid for a year and then didn't pay, and I didn't seek back child support from him until I realized that he came back from the show and he had cut them off, and I was like, yeah, I'm not having this again. So now I'm going to file for back child support and contempt of court and whatever else I need to.
Yeah.
Can't lie to you. I know she wants to, but I'm just maybe I'm being a bit of a man, in it. But the way she explained it, he abandoned me again, it's she said she gonna get that money. I'm just saying, you know what I mean? I mean, she has every right to. It gave, I'm gonna make sure I get my own back on you, nigga. If you thought you were gonna run away, you got another thing coming. But what's your thoughts on this? You know, because now we're talking about obviously Tyler and his particular behavior, and him obviously kind of Tyler and his particular behavior, and obviously the fact that he was paying and then suddenly he stopped paying. So talk to me, what's you guys' thoughts on this, man? This is a crazy situation.
Did he's? I don't know if they mentioned it. Did he? I think didn't he stop paying because he lost his job at the nuclear or whatever plant? That's during that time, right? So, see, this is why their situationship is so confusing. There were never any set boundaries and rules or standards that was put in place from the beginning, from the very beginning. Even during the time where he stepped up and wanted to help out more, or whatever, she allowed him to do that. That's cool. But even then, there should have been some type of rules and boundaries put in place of what this is going to be, how this is going to go. It seemed like they just winged it a lot. You know, hey, okay, we just do this, we just do this, we didn't do this. No good communication, no effective communication within that. Yes, hey, she's at the point now. It's time to put her on child support. She's trying to get back child support. I honestly don't know how that's going to go, really. But she's definitely probably going to get the child support for the twins. That's a no-brainer. I'm not sure how it's going to go with the oldest boy. I'm not sure how that's going to go because there's a lot of convolutedness going on in that situation. Even though I remember the ex-wife saying to Sean when they went through their custody battle, it got to a certain point where she gave it up. She just gave up her rights because she just didn't want to deal with the situation anymore. You know, that's her right to do so and whatnot. The only problem is all this conversation of giving up rights to kids, this and that third, and God's honest truth. Oh, how can I say this? It's not going to be nice no way how to say it. No matter who it is, it doesn't absolve you from the financial responsibility of the child. You know, your rights is just you having a say-so of what happens in that child's life and upbringing. That's it. So even if the reason why I'm a little confused about the son, I don't know by him getting custody, what type of custody was it? Full custody, half custody? You know, I know Deshaun said she actually had her name completely taken off the birth certificate. I believe that's to be true. I think I remember hearing that when she said she gave up her rights and everything. She had her name taken off. Did Tyler didn't put his name on? Because if so, then yeah, he's going to get hung up on that as well. But I also remember Bree in one of her little her Instagram videos when she first came out, she said the twins, yes, there's no brainer that's going to be child support. There was a little bit of an issue with the older son and how that's going to work. So I don't know what's going on with the older son situation. The only thing that's coming up now that everybody's waiting for is that court date that's coming up on the 15th. Even here, Bree just said it was a contempt of court hearing. That's not child support hearing. This is just a hearing that this is just a hearing that she had filed in contempt of him, and he missed the first court date. So this is not the big court date that everybody thinking it's going to be. You know, this is just, hey, you missed this court date. Now things are going against you. This is what will happen next. I don't know when his actual, unless they do it on this coming court date. I don't think they will. I don't know when his actual court date for the child is going to kick into play. There may be a while before that. It may be. I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm all over the place with this because they're all over the place. Yeah, I honestly don't know what's going to happen next with them. I know what probably should happen next, but it's not going to happen. It's just these are messy people. They've chosen their corners, and they're going to try to come out fight and stay in it. It's all messy. Now you got Ashley up in the midst because he's married now. It's messy. It's just messy. And the only thing I will say, heartwarming felt, I do feel for these kids because they know that man is daddy, and the daddy keep jumping in and out of their lives. And they're going to see all of this later at some point in time. They are, when they go up. And on all sides, I can see where they may have a problem with all of their parents of how all this has been handled. Because we didn't mention it earlier, but when she said the twins were a mistake, I cringed a little bit. I went, "Oh, that hurt me." Like, if I were to hear that, I can understand what she meant by it, but to hear it, that's bad choice of words. Bad choice of words. So it's just sad. This is very sad. And we haven't heard from Tyler. We're not going to hear from Tyler. If he's smart, we're not going to hear from Tyler at all. If he's smart. At least not until, I say, next year sometime. Because when we actually hear something from Tyler, he might say something. But anytime soon, yeah, that's probably the smartest thing he has done. Do his little interview obligations that he got to do for Love is Blind, and leave it at that. All this coming out on social media, whatever, he ain't gonna say too much. That's probably the smartest thing he should do. Take care of what you got to take care of behind the scenes first, however that's gonna go, and then and to deal with everything comes afterwards.
I echo you that this is such a messy situation. It's almost like you don't even know what to say. You just think, well, and if anything we are saying is that even hitting exactly what we need to hit. But where I stand on, I guess the question, Coach, is, to me, they were friends whenever they met. To me, there was knocking boots from, early. So I don't look at the situation as Tyler's an evil deadbeat. I look at the situation as everybody has been party to absolutely diabolical decision making. And that has led to where we are now, which various people are hurt, various people are embarrassed, various people are confused, and it's left the kids there, they don't even know what's going on. All they want is their dad. Now, for me, in saying that, it makes sense that when Tyler's around, he will try to help because he's not evil. He's not setting out to be evil. He's trying to do the right thing, but he doesn't have the capacity to follow it through because he never wanted this in the first place, because he was just trying to do the right thing. And as I was saying earlier, when you are a person, this isn't giving Tyler not one bit of freedom from what we're trying to say about him. I'm just giving a perspective. When you are a person who is in that particular situation, there is a time limit. And as soon as you can escape, you will do. This is all that he's been trying to do. Just escape, just escape. When there's no more options, he comes back, tries to do the right thing, but that time limit's going to be up and he's going to escape again. It's actually way more easier in fact, let me say it differently. For Bree to say, I'm cutting all ties, that's actually doing him a favor. That's what he wants. His wife is already like, yeah, cool, them kids over there, I ain't trying to deal with all of that. That's what he wants. That makes his life easier. less complicated. Not a lot of conversations needs to happen. But the moment that situation ends, he'll be right back around, trying to do the right thing, saying the right words. So if I stick on him, this is a situation to me where this man, before he even should have thought about going on this show, getting married, this is a man who needs serious therapy as to why he has this continuous pattern when it comes to women. Serious therapy when it comes to his decision making around sex. You know, you can have your partner there, but what else are you doing around that? What is happening with you? And I remember on the show, I had to give a standing ovation because for the first time on the show, I heard a black man say, I found someone that made me feel safe. I haven't heard a black man say that on a particular show before, but that resonated with me because I know what that feels like. And I said, wow, this man has not felt protected in his life when it comes to the people that he's cared about. But at the same time, now I'm kind of thinking, but your decision making was actually stopping you from feeling that because you was absolutely diabolical. How can you feel safe in a diabolical situation? Doesn't matter if you're trying to be the nice guy. How can you feel safe when you're lying, you're cheating, you're doing everything under the sun? You can't even be stable in your mind and in your heart. But because you was on the show away from that, that's when, okay, this now feels different. I don't just put that down to Ashley. I just put it down to the circumstance of the show. And so I really do question, or rather, I understand why he would be like, yeah, I ain't trying to deal with all of that. I want to do or say whatever I need to say to completely get away from that. Even if I was trying to do the right thing before, now is not that time anymore. Because he wants to distance himself from the madness that he created. He doesn't want Ashley to be in it. He doesn't want to show up on TV to allow anyone some room to pile the pressure on him or for him to slip up and say something he doesn't necessarily want to say. This is all on him. And this will be part of my final thoughts. So I won't say too much in it. But for me, I want us men to really stop putting ourselves in these situations. Don't get me wrong, that doesn't absolve ladies from their own decision making in terms of this. But at least speaking to men, let's stop putting ourselves in these situations because we have no sexual discipline. We're not using common sense. We're just, because this is crazy. This has got all of us here speechless, not knowing what to say, because there's no clarity here. There's no, where are we going? We might stop talking about this in a couple of weeks, but this is a situation that we're going to think back and think, this is crazy. And there is literally no solution until this man comes up and says, sorry, everyone, I was lying. I wasn't telling the truth. This is what it is, and this is what I'm doing about it. But at that point, he might lose Ashley. So this now is going to be a big sacrifice.
All right. I know Sean's in there. What's going on, Sean?
What's going on, everybody? What's up, Coach?
What's happening, Sean?
How can I help? I don't know where to fit in with.
How do you feel?
I don't know how you want me to help. I know we're towards the end, so you don't want to hear my monologue. So just tell me where I can just squeeze in and give some.
Man, speak your truth as always.
You too, man. We're talking about Tyler, obviously, situation now, innit? Obviously, we've done the ladies, but you can go back over ladies if you want to, but it's no, now talking about obviously Tyler and his particular behavior as well towards Brian stuff, and etc. etc.
Well, that's my forte. So look at
Absolutely.
that. Look at God.
Right timing.
Look at God. Look what he did. Yeah, I think a lot of what everyone said is I'm on par with that, especially what you just said, Jay, around just having discipline. But I think we need to root cause it a little bit too, because listen, it starts with us. We want to be leaders. We are leaders. That's what we were born to be. So I think, we just have to learn to not just talk it, but do it. And I think we've just seen a lot of that of late, of people saying things that they're going to do, and then their actions don't line up. And it's unfortunate. And I think Tyler was the same, you know, and I think whether it is using women financially, you know, for intimacy, he's got some deep holes to, he's got some deep holes that he's got to look at. And I think he just continues to lie, because if he doesn't lie and he doesn't lie to himself, then he has to face himself. And when you can't face yourself, that's a problem, because accountability runs through responsibility, and if you are unaccountable, and if you are unable to make better decisions, learn from your mistakes, then you're going to just continue that cycle. And unfortunately, he hopped off a crazy train of creating all these kids with no, basis of relationship or foundation. And then he jumped right onto the Love is Blind train. And unfortunately, Ashley has hitched her caboose to him, and now she's on a crazy train. So I think they're on a train to nowhere. And fortunately, hopefully it doesn't get completely derailed. But right now, it's really bad. And as everyone is, I think very eloquently said, it's the kids that really are going to suffer. And then what happens is you just create generations of trauma, generations of fatherless children, generations of kids who um, their self-worth and value is impacted, because look at Ashley, look at the example that she had in her dad. Now, when she goes to align herself with a man, you know, her self-worth is in the tank, because she does have a lot going for herself, but she's put on her big cape for somebody that is leaving her hanging out to dry to tell a story that's not even really hers to tell. So Tyler continues to disappoint. He continues to use women and abuse women, and he's doing it now, even with his own brand new wife, because she is wasting her time trying to tell a story about him and paint a picture about them and her that is just flawed and wrought with problems. So it's just a real bag of horribleness. I think this is probably the worst that we've ever seen come out of Love is Blind. And yeah, those are my sentiments.
Yeah, I think obviously, the problem is, that with Tyler is that, do you know what I saw this in my dream the other day. It was so weird, and I don't know if maybe the Lord is just pointing me out something, but when a man doesn't love the woman, yeah, and has a kid with them, it's very difficult. Just to the way that we connect, and this is probably the most wild statement, and I know ladies are going to tell us that, still step up and everything, and I hear it. I'm not saying that we shouldn't step up, but I want to make it very, very clear that because we don't carry the child, there is the direct attachment is very different, right? So the mother of the child carries it for 9 months. They get to form an attachment. It's part of them, right? But when that father doesn't love the mother, it becomes even more difficult. Which is why what Sean is saying, what Trey's saying, one has to be responsible with the seed. Listen, I ain't gonna lie to you. Listen, I've been reckless myself. You know what I'm saying to you? So this is my real big warning for any man up there. If you are going to be out here in them streets, wrap the frick up. Because you can't imagine the fear that you're about to encounter, how pissed off you're about to be about the fact that you had a kid with someone you don't even like. And it will send you into a spiral. Because you start thinking, especially if you are not fully where you want to be. You know what I'm saying? If you're Nick Cannon, you do whatever you want. You got all the money in the world. You can fly about. You can forget about them kids. As long as you're paying, we can question about him not being emotionally caring. But in reality, the situation is he paying for them down kids, right? So it's like, for any man out there specifically, this is just that warning. Like, yo, bro, like, I can tell you with so much hand on my heart, bro. Listen, you shouldn't be out here in the streets sleeping with people anyway. You know what I'm saying? From a Christian perspective, you know what I'm saying to you? From a Christian point of view, this is why God doesn't want us sleeping around. This is one of the aspects, right? God doesn't want us, doesn't want us sleeping around because of this thing that happens as well, right? But if you are going to be doing that, I'm gonna tell you, like, my guy, listen, wrap it up. Don't even play with it. Wrap it up. Don't even play with it. I've been there. listen, it's scary, don't do it, it's not worth it, your heart is aching, you start thinking your life will flash before your eyes like damn, because it's an action that can't be taken back, innit? You get what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like, and your life's about to change forever. So it's not like losing a job or, you lost some money. Those things can be replaced. But now your life is about to change. You know what I'm saying to you? So it's like, just obviously because I've been, you guys all say you guys I was in Egypt. I experienced some things. When you experience some things, it changes your perspective. So I know how difficult it can be. So any man out there, if you've not been in that situation, listen, wrap the frick up. Don't play with it. Treat it with absolute prejudice. Wrap the frick up. You have not got the time. You don't want this conversation. Because what we're seeing with Tyler here is diabolical, right? But Tyler represents what I think a lot of... And I don't even say even... I say it represents some men, a bracket of men, right? Who, because they don't have a relationship with the mother, it makes them estranged from the children too. It makes it more difficult to connect with the children. They don't have that same willingness to want to connect with the children. Do you get what I'm saying to you? Now, it's diabolical. I absolutely believe it's diabolical. I actually understand that. I hear it. I'm just saying that there's a lot of men out there. You see you'll see those kids as regret, because you're like, that's a mistake I made. And you don't want to be in that situation. Do you get what I'm saying to you? So just any advice for any young man out there who's silently watching this video, being very, very careful. And a lady as well. Someone said baby Koji on the way. No, there's no baby on the way. But it's just that I've experienced some things, you know what I'm saying to you? So I know that situation, like, you don't. Like, if you love that girl, it's a bit different. But when you don't, you start thinking about some things, you know what I mean?
Kojo.
Yeah.
So I have some positive news for the men, especially the black men.
Okay.
So, and this is a statistic that I've known, and for the fathers that are in their children's lives, black men are statistically more likely to be involved in their children's lives and involved in the day-to-day of any other race. So I think we have it in us. And I think that to your previous point, we just need to be more responsible with who we put ourselves in position to, to potentially have children with. Because for the most part, when we do, and we're involved and we're there, we're a very active part of their lives, right? So I think that and I think that just is something that's coded in our genetic, that's coded in our DNA, because that's in our roots. And that's what connects us and unifies us, because we have historically always partnered with the women that we were with. But again, not just random women. And I think that's part of the problem, or women we don't have intentions with, but the women that we are in relationships with. And you see that, you know, when black men and women get married, they do a good job together with their kids, or when they decide to be in a relationship and have kids, they work together. And it's not to say men do as much as women. No, I don't think we'll ever be there in terms of the nurturing, the caregiving. Women are just they do that better and differently for a variety of reasons. But we do it. I just want to give us men some kudos that and there's two fathers on this panel, and I may not know them super well, but what I know about them, they care about their children, and they talk about their children, and they're active in their children's lives. So when we do it, but we got to be responsible, and we can't, it still goes back to, it's not taking any heat off of Tyler, but just adding a thread of positivity. And I just feel like there's a lot of negativity brewing, especially for us on this side of the pond, that we do some things right, and I think we showed up, and maybe not as best as we could, but we showed up in a very solid, very good way for our sisters this year. And most recently, during, our election. So I just want to encourage all the brothers that are on the right side of things to continue to do that, to continue to look at yourself, to continue to hold yourself accountable. Don't be a Tyler. Don't look away, don't shirk, don't offload your responsibility onto a woman or onto someone else. Take your responsibility and carry it around proudly. and own it. You know, that's my little 2 bits.
Okay. Thank you, Sean. The last little bit, there was a little receipt that was read by Bree's mum's situation. So I'll let you hear it really quickly. I'll probably read it for you, but just so you can hear it really quickly, and then it's the last thing we're going to talk about.
That they agreed to this story that he
Okay, hold on.
allowed my kids to go and spend time with his family, and to say that they agreed that he was just a sperm donor, that was very, very hurtful. There are receipts that his mom would reach out to me, and I mean no disrespect to his mom, but it was very hurtful to see that they agreed to this.
Let me just read what the tweet, what the mom and her said. So the mom is talking. So she reached out to her mom, said, "Regardless, I wish you all the best. I pray the kids forgive y'all one day when they're able to understand and see the truth. I hope nothing I said comes off disrespectful, because I truly mean no disrespect to you. I am honestly just in awe, disappointed and sad for my kids, but I will deal with the pain, and we all come out on the other side of this. Sorry for even writing to you. I just wanted you to let you know I will be removing you all so you guys can continue on pretending my kids don't exist. I won't have to see it. I didn't want there to be any confusion as to why I removed you all, although I'm sure it wouldn't matter either way." The mother says, "Bree, it's not what it appears to be with me. This is all very heartbreaking to me. I pray every day that you and Tyler find a resolution sooner than later. I feel it's equally on both of you, and that you all need to put your differences aside. It's about the kids. Please don't ever think that I don't hurt from this. It bothers me daily. The kids, the girls especially, don't even know us, and I'm not pointing fingers, blame, but I do know that it's not about F them kids. No, it's something else. It's not them kids." And it breaks my heart to even think how they... Let me see if I can get the next part of that tweet. Let me see if I can get it. Oh boy, there's a lot of text. So let me know. Trying to get these. Okay, hold on. Baby, let me just fast forward and see if it. Okay, so that's the next set of tweets. Okay, but that's not a follow one. Okay, whatever. So another tweet was, "Oh my gosh, look at them! Just bought tears to my eye." This is 2022, actually, June 2022. Where she's speaking to Tyler's mother. Says, I'm so sorry, and I'll do everything in my power to get Tyler and all of us reconnected. Please be safe. We'll talk soon." And then she said to the mother, "I appreciate it. Good morning. Just wanted to let you know that Kai won't stop talking about his Gigi. Haha. Thanks for making sure he enjoyed his Christmas." That was December 30th. I said, I just told Tyler I miss him already. Told him when she comes back, we'll have so much to do. Hoping to come that way in a few weeks. We can meet up with the girls. Miss Pat, Tyler's grandma, turns 80 this year, wants a party, and keep on saying she can't leave from here without them babies, knowing she's there. Mimi, so unhappy. So happy you guys are working things out for the baby. So clearly there was things that were going on, obviously, with their relationship. So the mother's obviously saying some stuff. Okay, so let's go here. Mother's Day. This is before that. Okay, this is going backwards, so I don't know why the tweets are going backwards. Happy Mother's Day. Thank you for the same. Saying he's growing so fast, we have to make this right for the babies. So they were having problems before this, right? So 2022 they're having problems. So he's growing so fast, we have to make this right for the babies. When you come back, let's all go to dinner and talk. I've been talking to Tyler, and he has to make this right again. They are growing up too fast, and he knows the pain of his dad not being there. Be safe when you get back. She said, "Yeah, for sure. I truly pray Tyler figures everything out and is a part of their lives again. They deserve it. Always down to chat. Thanks for reaching out as well." Okay. And let's see, we'll go further. Okay, so I think that's, and then obviously that's when the last message that comes. But that's April. They're going backwards. I don't know why. I think I read this out already. So, okay, I read part of this already, but it says, "If you want to talk, call me. We can all come together." This is the mother, by the way. "If I have to be the middleman between you and Ty, I will do so. Please let me know. This is a bad situation that you're all in, and we need to fix it ASAP. I've always loved you and the kids. Let me know if you want to talk." Ty, for reaching out. Thank you for reaching out. And I do apologize. I had just been praying that you all could come to an understanding for the kids. Miss Dawn, please check on Tyler, she said, right? So, okay. And I think that's the last of the receipts that were kind of that were put in there as well. So, okay. It's crazy in the dunya. Yeah, so that's final thoughts, guys. What's your final thoughts on with it seems like Tyler's mum situation with also Bree? Is it the fact that mum's involved? Is the mum a problem? I know she wiped her Facebook clean originally, but want to get you guys' thoughts. Yes, Trey.
You know, reading some of those texts, it's almost given as God. I hate to use the phrase Ashley used. It's almost given like those kids are only there in and out themselves of his family's life. They're only seeing them at certain times of the year here and there. It's not a regular occurrence, and of course it's stemming from whatever's going on with Bree and Tyler, because obviously during that sessions of text they were on the outs. He must have had a girlfriend or something. He's out of there, so he's in his pattern stage. I'm out. And she's corresponding with his mother back and forth, probably seeing pictures here and there that might have seen him at this point, this time, and yeah, they're saying, "Hey, we need to fix this. We need to fix this," but nothing's getting prepared. Well, no, I can't say that. Obviously, it had to have been prepared at some point in time, because before he left for the show, they were cool. So he came back again. Their whole friendship is hot and cold, very hot and cold with one another. And it seems to me that the kids are the ones that's suffering, because the oldest like 7 now. Yeah, he's beginning to see himself and starting to ask a few questions like, "Here, what's going on?" You know, he probably see one grandma often, probably Bree's mom pretty often. His dad is in and out, and he doesn't see his dad's mom as much. That's what it seems like. I don't know. That they have a weird dynamic. Very weird dynamic. No one's really communicating. There's really no the mom saying, "Hey, maybe I can fix this, whatever," but I don't. I want to say maybe it's not happening, but at some point in time, it had to have happened. And they go strong for a bit, and then something happens, and Tyler's gone again. So Tyler, we already said this. He's very inconsistent. And an inconsistent man is a bad recipe for any type of family. Any type of family. That's one thing part of our lives. Usually, when we say you want a man to provide stability, that stability comes with consistency. You have to be consistent in what you are doing in your life to provide any type of stability within your family setting. Tyler doesn't have it, obviously. And he's gonna do nothing but bring that into the marriage he's in now. So yeah, don't be surprised we get a repeat offense. Don't be surprised.
That's a word. That is a word. Now, I'm not saying that Ashley and Tyler are Brett and Tiffany, but it's unfortunate that a black couple that seemed like they were, going to be strong, the premier black couple on this season, ended up being effectively not the worst couple in terms of how they were towards each other, but at least the stories that are coming out of this is the worst. And it's unfortunate that it has to be our people. And this is what's going to be talked about. This is what's embarrassing. I hate this. I absolutely hate this. But as I said, this is not a situation that I'm just going to put on Ashley. This, to me, is just a Tyler issue. Just not cleaning up his mess before he even entered into the situation. Forget about the show. This could still be a private situation that he could have had without the show. And to echo what Trey was saying, this man is not stable in what he's trying to do in his life, in his decision making. And we see a lot of people who are like that, and we know where it comes from. And for me, my final thoughts, just speaking to him, it's there needs to be a point where you just decide to do the right thing. There needs to be a point where you do whatever you need to do to grow up, to be focused, to get over whatever demons you're running away from the things you're not dealing with. There has to be a point where you stop hurting people, because now you're trying to love yourself a bit more and seek the things you need to. Because you're lucky you have someone like Ashley who says she's going to be ride or die, and she's probably seeing, certain things that helps her to understand, okay, what type of woman am I going to be in a situation? So you're lucky that she says, I'm going to be a woman that actually pours into you because I know you need it. My issue with that is that then positions her a lot of the time as the person who's taking no load on their shoulders. And we know there's a lot of women who are not, in fact, I'm going to say all women are not equipped for that. Not in the same way that men are. We are great together, but we was made differently for a different purpose. And for me, that's what scares me about this situation. Because if Tyler is not stepping up in the way that he needs to, and he is not taking accountability, and he's not setting things right, and he's trying to weasel his way out, that's going to create an awful dynamic in the marriage, because he, as we've seen, does not have the ability to stand tall and own his mess. Even if he's lying his way through it, he does not have the ability to stand tall and lie his way through it. He is squirming, he is hiding. If you look at his body language, he is trying to be withdrawn within. He is not appearing on these podcasts. All of that is unfortunate for me, and it paints a picture of us as black men that I do not like. If he was young, 20, 21, 22, look, we all made bad decisions at that age. We was all clueless, but you are a grown man of 30 something. There's an aspect of childness that's within you that needs to be dealt with, because this is a crazy situation. Yes, Bree has her own accountability that she needs to admit to herself in being party to this messy situation. She has a lot of questions she needs to ask herself about her sexuality, about what she wants to do moving forward. The whole situation of the ex-wife, it's about Tyler and in general, so we don't really need to know much about that relationship anyway. It's irrelevant unless Bree somehow is going to become someone popular. Yeah, but it's just a silly situation, and for me, just Tyler needs to just do the right thing. What Ashley does from here, it's entirely up to her. A lot of women think that she's eventually going to leave. Who knows? Who knows? Generally, who knows? At this point, I don't know what's going to happen. I genuinely don't. I just fear I don't want this to be another devastating situation where we all saw it coming, and and now we have to do what's the saying? Damage control, and speak as men and say, yeah, we have to do better. We know we have to do better, but when things like this happen, what can we? We can speak, but ultimately it's in our faces that this crazy still happens. So anyway, yeah. So first of all, lastly, I actually want to say, I don't know everyone who's in the chats, but if this situation has triggered you because of maybe your own private lives, we do, trust me, as men, we understand. We know a lot of us haven't really stepped up in the way that we're supposed to. And as Trey said, our instability has created a lot of foolishness in your lives, and you didn't need that. So I will apologize if any woman has been angry, those who have said something, those who have not. If anyone has looked at this and felt disappointed in black men, even the way some black men have responded to the situation on other channels, we don't know. But we are with you on this, that this is an absolutely diabolical situation, and we just pray that he just makes better decisions moving forward.
I'll let you go last, Sean, and we'll end it with you.
Okay. I think, man, and just seeing those text exchange between Bri and Tyler's mom, You know, it is disappointing because it just seems like, although it doesn't remove responsibility, it almost seems like his mom and now Ashley are complicit in his behavior. And I think it's just setting a bad trend for Tyler where he uses women to cover up his misdeeds. And that's terrible. To even think that a grandmother would go and wipe her grandchildren off of her Facebook page in order to be in a plot with him. Like, I just think, you know, again, he's the one at the end of the day. He's a full grown adult. You know, he's definitely responsible for his actions, but for her to be willing to do that for the sake of him going on a show, that to me speaks volumes. And also knowing that, you know that he's not being an active participant in the lives of his children. And you're well aware of that. It's not even like it's a mystery to you. You are in direct knowledge of that. So it's just very disappointing, you know, that the mom did that. And I think unfortunately, I just don't have a lot of faith that he's going to do something different. Because to me, all Tyler does is just monkey branch, you know, a monkey bar from one thing to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next. And he's just dodging accountability and dodging himself and running away. You know, that's what happened with however many alleged evictions he's had, and, you know, the stuff that he owes money to other women. It's like that pattern, that level of financial irresponsibility, that level of financial abuse to the women in his lives, that shows me somebody that's running and they're drowning, but they just get up enough energy to get to the top of the surface, and then they just tread water, and then they start to drift again, and then they find somebody else to hold on to and drag them down while they lift up, you know? So I think he needs some deep work, and people like that run into a relationship. So he ran into the arms of Ashley in a marriage, and now she's not even, whatever she's doing publicly, I don't care what she's doing privately, the public work is, it would undo anything that she could say she's doing behind closed doors. I don't care how many conversations she's had where she said we've talked about it. The public work you're doing, it's like a criminal that commits a crime and you're lying to the authorities, but behind closed doors, you're telling them they're wrong. The crime was committed and you're still covering. So you're actually an accomplice now when it was something that you didn't even participate in. So I know she's out here telling us we don't know half of this stuff. We don't need to know. We know what you tell us publicly. And publicly, what you're doing is covering for him, making excuses, lies. And I think it's just a classic case of someone who lacks a responsibility, who is immature, and that, you know, is coddled and used to getting their way, and uses women to do that. And the same women that have his back and cover up his crimes are the same women that he takes advantage of. And that's sad and disappointing. So, you know, I need him to grow up. I need him to stop, remove himself from any relationships, and get some help, some deep help, to understand what's driving these deep-rooted abusive behaviors that he's exhibiting up to this point.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. It's been a very good conversation. We had over 800 people in the room watching you guys. So God bless y'all for your good opinions and your thoughts as well. You know, I think, you know, we have to put the majority of this, no majority, in terms of what Tyler's done, he takes full responsibility. Full accountability. He has to give full accountability for his actions in this situation. He may not like it, but he has to be accountable. What I think is diabolical is that we have Ashley, which I'm sure she probably wanted to do it anyway, just to show her loyalty, defending him when he should be coming out to talk about it. Well, I think she will find out, because if he does go to court and he's held in contempt financially, I'm sure she'll bail him out, right? So it's going to affect her financially very, very soon. So it's going to be an interesting kind of next week or whatever, because it's on the 15th. We'll find out what happens as well from that situation. But you know, I think the reality of the situation is that anybody here, you know, I think for the men specifically, just be responsible for your seed, my friend. Don't listen. Once it goes into her hands, you don't have any say, my Negro. Okay, so just be responsible with that. You know what I mean? Like, wrap up. I say it again. Wrap Death Break up. It just creates so much less carnage. And, you know, if you are there, look after them kids. You know what I'm saying? You don't run away from responsibilities. You know what I'm saying? But if Tyler's watching, listen, look, I don't want you to die an early death because them kids need to be looked after. Okay, so we want you to live long. All right, so you know, I would say just get whatever help you need, Tyler, man. Do you know what I mean? But you know, don't leave you know, Brie alone to handle the responsibility, especially when you got Ashley there too, because more than likely you may find yourself repeating the same mistakes that you have with Brie that you also have with Ashley. Maybe not. We'll see, but it's more than likely you would end up repeating the same mistake. So, listen, we'll definitely chop it up another time, guys. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us today. It's been a great conversation. We'll be back again. I'm sure there'll be more developments, so I'm sure there's more to talk about in next few days as well. So, someone said they hope Tyler gets locked up. I hear it. All right, listen. Be blessed. Be loved. Oh, sorry. Let me read out someone's super chat. Tamara said, hey, a good friend of mine's father started a new family with a new woman and left her and her sister behind. New wife was fine with that. Still married. It'd be like that. I told you, Serena Williams' daddy, if you saw the effort he put into them twins compared to what he did with the other children, listen, some men, they start again and they become a whole new man. So, you know what I'm saying to you? I kind of secretly hope that is Tyler, but don't hope, because at the same time, he has to look after the previous kids. But sometimes that happens. You know, some men will leave a previous situation, go into a new one, and become this brand new person. You know what I mean? You sometimes hear this where people are half siblings and you hear that they're saying like, I didn't get that dad. And they were like, yeah, my dad was amazing. And you're like, what the hell? Brian McKnight is doing the exact same thing where he's totally invested in his kids now. But, you know, his previous family, issues are up and down across the board. So men do this, yeah. So it's not a good look, but men do this as well. So, you know, as well. So it's a lot, really. It's a lot. All right, cool. We appreciate you guys. Still uploaded. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. And make sure you're liking the video as well. Subscribe to the channel. We appreciate y'all. All right. Love, peace, and hope.